So the business at hand is in forming a coaching staff. So where do we stand? And what is the latest there?
There's nothing that's been announced other than Mario Cristobal. So there's that. I think some guess personally. What is okay, sorry. My guess would be something in the, New Year's Day window, maybe a couple days after that. Because you're gonna have the first round of or like most of the bowl games in the first round of or the semifinals for the college football playoff will have been played. So I think you can go and do that. We know that Mario Cristobal is the head coach. There's that. Again, like kind of the nudge, nudge, wink, wink thing. First of all, Alex Mirabal, his best friend since forever, is going to be the offensive line coach. Has not been announced, but you can etch that in stone. You don't got to wait. You got to put that in pencil. Like Alex Mirabal, offensive line coach.
Is that because he's coaching tonight?
Huh?
Is that because he's coaching tonight in tonight's game, Oregon game?
Is Mirabal still there?
I don't know. That's just an ignorant question. So. Okay.
I think that he's been here and everything, and you have offensive linemen in this class, like current cycle, like 2022, that are signing in February, who are putting up, it was great to talk to new Miami offensive line coach Alex Mirabal, be reoffered by Miami, and they're new. Adding him on Twitter, that's one of the worst kept secrets in college football, that Alex Mirabal is going to be on the staff. I think that the Brian McClendon from Oregon to Miami thing is a done deal as well, and has not been announced because he's coaching in tonight's bowl game. I was today years old when I learned that Oregon was playing a bowl game today, also because I don't pay attention to Oregon like that. I'll turn it on and see them sometimes, but I don't follow them. But there was an intrepid Oregon fan who was concerned about having his staff poached by Cristobal as he left. That unleavable job that no one would ever leave, ever in a million years would any coach ever leave the Oregon job. We've seen multiple people do that, but hey, whatever. And so he goes digging through, and he found a couple of badges, or it's like, well, I guess it was on his phone, but it was like the coaching page, or the biography page of the coach or whatever on the Miami website with the .miami.edu email extension, and posted those, and was like, it looks like Mirabal and Brian McClendon. And I saw one from somebody who purports to have or to be employed by Miami Information and Technology Services, and said, I'm a senior director with the University of Miami ITS, and you don't get that email address and everything unless onboarding has been completed. So to have shown that, the onboarding and, everything would have been needed to be completed to even have that populate. So do with that, or it was like the employee directory, whichever one, but do with that as you will. I believe that he's coming down. Aaron Feld, the strength and conditioning coach, also expecting him to come on down as well. Had prior experience with Cristobal in Alabama before getting the job out there, following Cristobal and getting promoted to head S&C instead of assistant and things like that. There's talk of Jim Mastro, a really dynamic West Coast recruiter, could coach a couple of different spots. The expectation at this point is that Travaris Robinson is retained on staff. Some of the other ones, it kind of depends, because depends on which way the defensive coordinator thing goes, because a couple options reportedly have backgrounds as defensive backs coaches, while a couple other candidates have backgrounds as linebackers coaches. So you would obviously cross programs. So if you bring in one who has a secondary background, then you're going to bring in somebody to coach linebackers. If you want linebacker background, you're going to bring in another person probably in the secondary. which would then, potentially open the door for DeMarcus Van Dyke staying, who could be at the, beginning of a strong career, because, you do have to start somewhere. And I think that he did a good job both on the trail and developing the cornerbacks through this season. I know that Travaris Robinson was also the defensive backs coach, so he wasn't doing it by himself, but still, I think, there's that, and it'll be interesting. There was a report today that Rob Chudzinski, former Miami tight end on the national championship team, who played with, say it with me, guys, Mario Cristobal, exactly, and coached at Miami, was the offensive coordinator for the greatest college football team ever in 2001 for the Miami Hurricanes, is expected to have a role here. I think it was Bruce Feldman who reported that earlier today. If not, I saw Bruce Feldman. I think it was him or someone else, but I think it was Feldman. And Chudzinski is a special assistant at Boston College right now. Obviously had the offensive coordinator job here, obviously worked in the NFL as offensive coordinator for many years, and was the head coach of the Cleveland Browns for a time. That did not go well, obviously, but, hey, it's the Browns, and they've not had lots of great seasons. And I'm a Lions fan, so don't even say that I'm dumping on a bad team from my perch, because we are in the trenches and the doldrums together, guys. But yeah, so there's that. And, there is, I'm fairly certain that there's other interests as well. And I don't necessarily need everybody to be from South Florida on the team or on the staff. But I mean, if you want to give me another really, really strong South Florida recruiter, Juwan Sider-ish, wouldn't be mad at it. But I think that there's plenty of coaches, and the thing with Miami increasing the assistant pool, we're going to go and buy somebody up off of their good job and just say, hey, if money is the option, right? So if all things being equal, here's an extra $100,000 to make them unequal in our favor. How's that work for you? You know what I mean? And I think that, we're going to have a staff that we're going to be proud of. I think we're going to have a staff that, is going to be really exciting, which, I mean, it already is, because Mario Cristobal's at the head of that, already making $8 million a year, which is top 10 in the country. So, yeah, this budget-friendly, spendthrift, frugal operation that Miami was really trying to that had worked because of the guys in the building back in the day. So they said, look, we got by with the shoestring then. They did all this player, that's the other part of everything being player run. And the players are so close and the players teach each other. And it's well, because they kind of had to, because there's not the other structures. You're just trying to get away with that and make this money hand over fist for 15, 20 years. And they're finally, Miami going to spend some. So, yeah, it's going to be pretty dope.
Falconer X is here. Appreciate that super sticker to start things out. Then Falconer X comes back with, I had my beer on Frosted Flakes for the Tony the Tiger Sun Bowl, but I will have to find another game. Cam, what do you think the impact of John Ruiz's involvement will be going forward?
John Ruiz, again, being burgeoning mega booster with the medical billing technology thing that's supposed to be, with the $20 billion valuation for his personal wealth. I think it's going to be big. I think it's going to be a large amount of involvement because, money buys you into the room. And, he went to Miami. His entire family went to Miami. His son, Johnny Ruiz, played second base for the baseball team for a couple of years, hit 364 1 year, something like that. It was really, it was a lot of singles and doubles, but hey, 364, they all look like line drives in the box score list. 36%, hits. That's pretty incredible. So yeah, no, he wants to be involved, and he will have the capital to be able to be involved. He's talking about this plan to, buy Coral Gables High School and put a stadium there. That's not going to happen. Negotiate the purchase from Miami-Dade Public Schools and move Coral Gables High School off the corner of Ponce and Lejeune. I don't think that's going to happen at all. Yeah, that's the kind of thing that we're he's talking about it in ways where it could potentially be possible. It's not just me sitting here and saying, well, I'm going to go do that and rub these two nickels that I have on this coffee table together and make that happen. It's no, I got my own money and people connected also as well. So towards making some of these major moves happen. So yeah, I think we're just seeing the beginning of what John Ruiz Sr. desires to do, and I'm interested to see what he will be able to do in support of the program moving forward.